Bless all the way up. It's your boy, Change Agent Cooper. Make sure you like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell for notifications so you can be alerted when this content is coming out. I got a lot to say and I'm going to say it. I got a lot of experience, strength, and hope, and I'm going to share it. For me not to, that would be blasphemy. And speaking of sharing experience, strength, and hope, your boy just finished up speaking. I was the opening speaker for the second day of a conference out at held by East Tennessee State University for veterans. They wanted me to come and just share my story and about the work that I've led and stuff, man. And it was so lit. I love speaking, man, telling the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And if they didn't hear me say God is good, they wasn't listening. But listen, let me get to the meat of why I'm doing this video today. So I stayed a little bit after I had spoke and attended some of the panels, and one panel had a brother on there that was that works with veterans, supportive employment services. So some of y'all might know about supportive employment services. Many people don't. Like many people that I've been connected to over the years just aren't familiar with all the services that are available, and that's why I'm doing my due diligence as a community health worker to raise awareness about these resources, because we have to tackle this cliff, y'all. We cannot have people continue to fall in the gaps. But listen, so one of the guys on the panel was sharing about supportive service employment, and as he was breaking down who he serves, he used some lingo. And first and foremost, let me pause and say, language matters. There is power in language. There's power in language. There's stigma in language. We got to be careful. Language matters. And so when he was talking about who is actually eligible for the services that he provides, watch this. He said people with severe mental illness. You heard? Severe mental illness. And when I heard it, I thought to myself, because this wasn't the first time that I've heard it and felt some type of way. Just to be clear, this ain't the first time that I heard, SPMI or SMI, and in my mind be like, wow, that sounds kind of harsh. You know what I'm saying? But like when you hear severe mental illness, that in itself, it sounds distasteful. So when we're talking about addressing the stigma, right? The stigma in certain communities. Let's talk about communities of color. Shout out to Voices of Appalachia. You know how we do addressing the mental health stigma in the communities of color of Western North Carolina. So when we start talking about what it has taken for us to be able to get people to even understand that they need to take their medications, or that they need that it's okay, that it's safe to talk about their diagnosis. It took us having stigma slayers in place intentionally in place, who either had lived experience that had a diagnosis or have a diagnosis, or family members that have a diagnosis or surviving, mental health diagnosis or challenges. But we never used the language severe mental illness, you see? And so what I'm thinking of now is that we have to take on this mission. My people, my listeners, my followers, my fans, my frenemies, we need to take on this mission now, and I'm serious about this. Like, I'm sharing this video. If you got this video, you're somebody I believe who can impact change. But when we think about addressing the stigma in the communities of color specifically, because that's racial disparities when you start talking about access and engagement and treatment and everything, we have to have people in place who helps break that down. We can't have the people using that language without breaking it down further. Because if you hear somebody say severe mental illness, they might not want to admit that they have bipolar or PTSD or anxiety, you know what I'm saying, or even schizophrenia. You know what I'm saying? I know people with all of those diagnoses, you feel me? And I know people who got enough of experience in communities where there's stigma to where if they heard somebody say severe mental illness, they ain't finna say nothing because they don't want you to think they crazy. You see? That's what goes on in the communities. And so now what I'm thinking is, it's time for us to innovate. Now, I've been in communication with some folks from Vocational Rehabilitation, some folks on the state level, some consultant, you know what I'm saying? And it's time. It's time to address it for multiple reasons. One reason we got to address it is so we can get more people in the criminal legal system as they come out of prison. We get more of them engaged in services because they qualify. And the other reason is so we can address the racial disparities. and start addressing the stigma in the communities of color so that people can start accessing these resources. Listen, they got supportive services, employment services. They can benefit a whole bunch of people I know that ain't never been able to keep a job. They can benefit some people I know that ain't never been able to take the next step to get, whatever portable credential, whatever training, whatever paid internship, whatever on-the-job training contract, whatever work-based learning experience. They never had the opportunity to get that because they had some other challenges that they didn't want to talk to nobody about because they didn't trust the person that was talking about it, maybe because they said severe mental illness. I don't know, but I'm saying I have mental health challenges myself. And there was a time where I didn't want to talk about it with nobody because I thought people was going to judge me. Matter of fact, people did judge me. But it's a new day. And we talking about slaying stigma now, baby. We talking about slaying stigma now on purpose, with purpose. Yeah. Hell change agents. Hell stigma slayers. Let's go. You dig? I'm here for it. And so what my idea is, it's time to pilot something, man. And I believe in the community health worker credential, the movement, the initiative, the training, the curriculum, the process. I believe in it because what qualifies you is your trust in a certain community. You see? You got to be trusted, you dig? And so when you put these trusted people embedded in a community, dealing with certain populations, helping slay stigma, helping use different language to help people understand why it's important for you to admit that you have a diagnosis and maybe get back to seeing a professional because you're missing out on some resources because you don't want to admit that you have an issue. Homie, let me take you over there to Vocational Rehabilitation and we have a nice conversation on the way over there, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of powerful conversations happen in the vehicle. This is what we need: boots on the ground investment, y'all. We need to invest in the boots on the ground. It's an equity issue if you want to be real. It's an equity issue. It's an access issue. And as we talk about social determinants of health, and we talk about health, we can't forget about health care. And when we talk about health care, we can't forget about mental health. Mental health matters. Mental health matters. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. You feel me? It's coming to a close. It's about over. But I'm here for it. Shout out to those that came before me that was slaying the mental health stigma, that's been slaying the mental health stigma. And I'm an innovator that's out here in these streets, and my brain don't turn off. It's always going. That's how God wired me. And now I have this idea for a pilot to embed community health workers and stigma slayers to help these people understand the access to the resources, what resources are available, and it's okay to talk to us because we trust it. It's a safe zone. Let's get the resources you need so you can take care of your family and not have to self-medicate and end up back in the penitentiary. My name is Change Agent Cooper. I'm not the answer, but I'm for daggone sure the alternative.